Hey everyone, it's Rachel from Merrick Makings in Australia. I have brought here today a quick tutorial on how to create this fun fold. Now, I did steal this one from a fellow YouTuber and I will pop the links down below, but I did create this one with slightly different dimensions. And today it was requested that I make a video and I did promise it, so here we are. I am using the Lily Pond Lane DSP for this one, and don't worry, I have got all of the measurements here. You can pause it, or I am going to create a quick little downloadable PDF for my blog that you can go and grab yourself. Now you will notice that I've scored, and this uses one sheet of cardstock with some leftovers, I have to admit. My base is 10.5 centimeters by 25.8. And it is scored at 2, 5, 11 and 14. So this is what I call the base. It's the larger piece. And this is very simple. I literally, once you know how to cut everything out, you just use your base cardstock and a pretty DSP like this one, and it just shines. It really does. So I'm just here to show you how to put it together. So I did call this second piece, the panel across the front, as an overlay, just so when you do go to make it and you're following my instructions, you'll be able to know which is which. So to actually glue this down, I've scored it all, burnished it, and now you can see I'm folding it flat, and there is just a minimal amount of glue that holds this together. But if you are gluing it down, I suggest you glue it flat like I am. It just makes sure that everything is square when it pops up, and you can see that now. So that creates the very base of our card. And then this is the overlay section, so it will lay over the top. Now, you are going to glue this down like so. However, I'm going to pop my DSP on there. So you can do your DSP panels before you glue all of this down, except for the inner piece. But I just find it easier to actually partially put it together like I am in this video, because then I can line up those edges for the border really well. It's a bit harder or a little bit tricky when it's just scored and it hasn't got dimension, and I did find I can get a little bit crooked. So I did create two others of these. One was using the birds that you saw earlier in the video, and one using the pumpkin spice from the More Than Autumn stamp set, which I just love. And for those who know me, I really look forward to this time of year because pumpkin spice lattes are at Starbucks, and being in Australia, that is a fairly rare thing. We can't just go out to the shops and buy pumpkin spice. We can't just go and grab a syrup to add to our coffee, although I have to admit I did indulge and order one online, so I have got some at hand whenever I want them. Let's go back to this. This is the overlay. So I am just gluing that little tab down. So this is the tricky part. It will depend on exactly where your score lines are, and I have measured this one. It is, I think, 6 by 16.3 centimeters, and it does overhang a little bit. Sometimes it's more than others, so I've just left it at those measurements so that it's accurate, and I just turn it over before I glue it and trim it off. It doesn't really seem to make any difference to the actual DSP panels that I add to it. It's just that little bit of cardstock that does. So I'm going to attach it, and I'm not going to attach the whole part, just a little section there, and it will attach to that front piece. Again, gluing it down where it's flat on the table, just make sure that it's all square, and then I give it a good rub just to make sure that that adheres fairly easily. Now this actual panel, whilst it is 6 centimeters wide, you can make it wider or skinnier, and that will then just have to change these panels of DSP that you're adding to it. So this one here is going on the front, and I am using that reed pond kind of DSP, and you will see why at the end, because I am adding my ducks as well. This paper is beautiful. I love the colors in it. I love the variety in the DSP as well, and it's so versatile. Those lilies in that other pink DSP there that I used are really quite pretty just in a card on their own. So that is the very basics of it, but I have got this background. So I have changed this from my original other two, where I'm adding this after I've adhered everything together. And that just means it lays over the top of the tabs that I've glued down. And the reason for this is I just found it looked a little messier, a little unfinished when I was opening them up, and you could look down into the card itself. Now these cards do have an entire back that are blank, and you can add a white piece of cardstock and a stamp sentiment and write on the back of these ones. They're just so pretty standing up that I'm sure anybody you give them to will love them. And they're very, very easy to make look really finished because of all the DSP that you can use. Of course, you can matte your DSP like I have in the pumpkin pie one, pumpkin spice one, sorry. So that's pretty much the base of the card done. And I am going to add a circle from Spotlight on Nature Circles dies and some duckies to this one as well. And here is the almost finished card without some embellishments, but you get the idea, and it does fold flat. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you give this one a go and grab the measurements below or on my blog. Until next time, enjoy.